And we are live. Hey guys, thank y'all for tuning in with me on this. Well, I was about to say Monday night, but Memorial Day has my week all screwed up. It is actually Tuesday, but anyway, nonetheless, thank you guys for checking out this video. And if y'all hear my dog barking, I'm in the garage, y'all, recording in the garage because the kids are still up. They are getting ready for bed, and I wanted it to be quiet in the background. Anyway, tonight I am going to be doing things a little differently because one of my subscribers sent this to me. And y'all, it is quite interesting. So I'll just go ahead and get to the point and let y'all know um, what happened. So it says, this Memorial Day weekend, I came to visit my best friend because her and I do not see each other regularly due to moving to different cities after college. I figured that since I had a bit of money and an extra day off work, I'll surprise her and show up. Little to my surprise, she had forged a brand new relationship and is already living with the man. That's the first mistake. Anyway, when I first arrived, he seemed very cordial. I bought wine and a house plant to help bring some life into their newly acquired house until they can get some money for interior decorations. He thanked me and was genuinely excited to meet me because he's heard so much about me. The first day slash night goes off without a hitch, and I went to sleep with an overall good feeling about the man. That is until the next day. The next day, my best friend and I decided to do brunch and a walking tour of the downtown area. And we also decided to try out all of the local breweries that popped up in the area. It was a pleasant day with her, and we caught up. When we were at the last brewery, she mentioned that her boyfriend gets a little weird without his weed. And can we stop by some person's house to buy some? In my state, weed is legal, so I buy mine from an authorized retailer. In this state, it's illegal, so you still have to do under the table buys. I did not feel like taking such risk, but I did it because they were hosting me and I also wanted to smoke. When I get to the house, he is withdrawn and is not as talkative as he was yesterday. So I handed him the weed and he just walks off and starts to break it up and roll it. He didn't even thank me for it. I figured this would pass when he got some THC in his system, but instead, he runs into the back room and closes the door and doesn't socialize. I think me being the person that I am, I would have said something, especially if it was my money that bought the weed. Anyway, moving on. Um, then I told my best friend to go grab the wine that was open last night, and she says that it was completely gone. I found that weird, being as though he already drank a whole separate bottle and a tall can of Budweiser. I again shrugged this off. When the next bottle is opened, he claims that he didn't like it because it was too dry for him. After my first glass, I realized I was still pretty drunk from the brewery tour, so I left the wine alone. He comes and asks if I wanted the bottle anymore, and I told him no, and he proceeds to drink the whole bottle with no regard to my best friend and myself. Again, there was no thank you. Okay, at this point, I would be looking at my friends strange because what type of person are you dealing with that don't have the common courtesy to say thank you when they get something from somebody? Like, this nigga ain't got no manners. His mama should have done better. Anyway, I go into the room and they decided to play together on the Nintendo Switch and they invited me to join. I told them that I wasn't familiar with the game they were playing, but I will give it a shot. After a quick crash course, I got the hang of the game, but we still lost the first round. He then proceeds to make disparaging remarks about me and gets really nasty as the game goes on. The whole time, my best friend is laughing and thinks it's cute. I get very discouraged and withdrawn and decide to stop playing, and they did not notice that my character was not even moving on the screen. At that point, I would have got on my friend ass. Like, don't play with me. And then you letting him down talk and make disparaging comments. Like, what kind of friend are you? Anyway, back to the story. He eventually realizes that I'm not going to open the last bottle of wine, and he was itching to drink again. He then proceeds to ask my best friend about her finances so he can go to the store and grab a beer for himself. She says she's broke, and I decided to play broke so he doesn't look to me. This prompted me to ask her out of his presence whether he was employed. She says no, and that she does everything for him and the house. Whew. Mm. Now my alarm bells are going off about this guy. Later that same evening, I was washing the dishes after my best friend cooked dinner. He then comes up behind me and touches my butt. I was so thrown off by this gesture that I stopped doing the dishes and ran to the back with my friend. I realized I fell asleep. No, I didn't realize I was asleep until I heard his house shoes gliding across the floor. I wake up and he's standing over my side of the bed smoking a cigarette. I guess I scared him off when I jerked myself up and he walked out of the room. I fall back asleep and sometime later I heard the house shoes gliding again. I decided to play asleep and slightly cracked my eyes open. I saw him on my side of the bed, rifling through some of the things I had on the nightstand. He then proceeds to stand in the same position I saw him in earlier. Then I did an exaggerated toss and turn, and this scared him off. I went back to sleep. When I woke up, he was sitting on my side of the edge, browsing his phone. This completely startled me that I froze. My best friend is a hard sleeper and she is not noticing the constant pop ins from her boyfriend. I must have moved, and he turns around and says, "For the past couple of minutes, I was looking at your toes. I like pretty feet and you have pretty feet." I loudly blurted, "What the fuck did you say to me?" Y'all, I would have lost it. I would have completely lost it on his butt. Anyway, my best friend finally wakes up and she asks what happens. Before I get a word out, he blabbers off an explanation and she goes back to sleep. It was at it I would have said something to my friend at this point, like regardless of him blurting out an explanation and trying to explain himself, like my friend would have had to hear what I had to say. I sit up in the same position and just stare at him until he leaves. It's currently 3:36 a.m. Eastern and I have not slept. I'm afraid for him to come in again. I planned for one more day, but I am highly uncomfortable with this man. I want to book a hotel for my final night, but I don't know how to explain this to my best friend. She is so caught up in this rapture of his that any misgiving I have will probably be ignored. She's been struggling with depression and he brings her happiness, and I don't want to crush that, but he is clearly a creep and a freeloader. This will destroy her world. She's highly vulnerable and she gets really codependent in romantic situations. What I say won't be believed, and this I know is a fact. What do you do when someone is so caught up? In my opinion, I would just tell her. This have y'all ever watched that Netflix special, The Worst Roommate Ever? Um, and I can't remember like the names of the characters, but I think it's like the last two episodes where the guy's a squatter, and if you don't know what a squatter is basically a person that settles on a property without payment of rent, because that's what he is. Regardless of him being her boyfriend, he is a damn freeload ass squatter, because he ain't you ain't got no job, you ain't paying no bills. And sis, why are you so desperate? Because if he's not contributing anything to the household, it is no point for him to be there. Anyway, um, on the show, the guy would rummage through the roommates' things to kind of make them feel weird and uncomfortable. And like this girl isn't even the roommate, like she experienced this, and it's the friend's boyfriend. This is a huge red flag because I understand that this guy could bring temporary happiness, but he's uninterested in paying any future bills. And at the end on the Netflix special, when these people are confronted, they get extremely angry, and it usually ends in someone's death. Like it does not end good. So honestly, like by you being there, you could interfere with things while it's fresh, which I don't know, you don't necessarily have to confront him, but definitely tell the friend. But if I was the friend, if I were you, I would suggest that the friend not confront him alone or say something to him alone, because something not right about this guy, from like the foot fetish to rummaging through people things while they asleep. Also, I would recommend that do a background check on him, because he could have gave her a fake name. And this has actually happened to somebody I personally know. They married somebody that they weren't familiar with, and the guy lied about where he was from, lied about his real name, and it was just like a disaster. And he tried to kill her, like literally, was poisoning her. But yeah, this guy's basically a homosexual fuckboy opportunist, and I could safely come to the conclusion that he's probably cheating on her, because if he felt comfortable enough to come on to her best friend, then it's pretty safe to say that he's probably doing it to other women when she's not around, especially since she was right in the other room and he felt comfortable like touching your butt and coming into the room, putting you in an uncomfortable position. Tell your best friend to let it go. He literally brings nothing to the table. And if she's your friend, if she if she is a real friend, I'll say that she'll believe you. Cause what reason would you have to lie about her boyfriend trying to be inappropriate with you? Um, Also, since she's so vulnerable, um, don't focus on how you felt about the situation. Just tell her what happened and allow her to talk about her feelings. For instance, when I was in the kitchen, he came by and he touched my butt, um, and just leave it at that. Don't be like, oh, I felt freaked out and anxious when he touched me. I didn't know what to do, so forth and so forth. So, um, that's pretty much my take on that. I don't have anything else to say. I'm appalled that this guy has this type of nerve to do some shit like that. So, um, that's it, y'all. If y'all have anything else y'all want me to cover, or any stories or something to send to get advice or anything like that, shoot me an email. My link will be in the description. Or you can like DM me on Facebook or Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so that you can get notifications when I'll be uploading new videos. Peace.